Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour two, final hour of 2025 here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Looking forward to it. We're going to talk some LSU basketball coming up in 15 minutes. Tigers got a 30-point win back last night against Southern Miss. I got a column up on LouisianaSports.net talking about why this team feels a little bit different, and I'll talk about that coming up in our next segment. Sharief, Ishaq, 30 minutes from now, talking more New Orleans Saints. Got to get you a score update from Shreveport, Louisiana. The Independence Bowl. Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Tech. How could you miss it? 7-0 Chanticleers at this point. Big day for the Chanticleers, I think, because they're playing a postseason game against the Louisiana team. They don't have to face Cade Anderson. They don't have to face Anthony Heinsohn. Don't have to face Chase Shores. Don't have to pitch to Curiel. Don't have to pitch to Milam. Just take on the Bulldogs. That's all. That's it for the Chanticleers.
But can we make sure their head coach doesn't get kicked out like the manager?
I cannot make sure, but we'll see. But that would he's made it longer than their manager now because that was the first inning on the Sunday game. I haven't thought about that in a while. I forgot the umpire had the audacity to run the coach in the first inning of a championship game. Yeah. My God in heaven, just don't even get me started on that. I had so many people tweeting at me like, you can't do that. You can't do it. Yes, you can. You can yell at the umpire if you need to. He just needs to not listen. And don't throw out a coach in the first inning of a championship. I wasn't even planning on doing that. But that's your fault, Jordan.
Hey, it's the best of 2025.
Okay. Let's talk about the college football playoff. I am actually very excited for the college football playoff over the next 2 days. And you might say, well, why would you not be? You watch college football. You pay attention to college football. It's a playoff. You got big brands. You got iconic stadiums and venues. Like, how can you not be excited? I'll be honest. Like, I don't like when teams I don't like win at a high level. It irks me. And I've talked about this routinely. I don't get injured when Georgia wins. I don't care if Ohio State wins. I feel no true feeling toward Georgia or Ohio State. I do not care at all about Oregon. And I really don't care that much about Alabama anymore. I feel like I've kind of lost that war. And if we're being honest, I'm not that scared of Kalen DeBoer. And I think he's a good coach who will win a lot of games at Alabama. I don't fear that he's going to turn them back into Sabanville. And so I don't care if they win another game or two. I don't think they're going to win a championship. I'm going to talk about it in a second. The only team I care about that's left is Ole Miss, because I feel like, right or wrong, it's how I feel, that I am in this elite club as an LSU alum, as an LSU grad, as an LSU fan. I got national championships. I'm in this club, and Bama's here, and Ohio State's here, and Clemson's here. And, you got USC, Miami, Texas is here, and Auburn's show up, and they got a table over in the corner. And, yeah, Michigan, they're recently that came back in. But I'm in this club, and we have exclusive access, and A&M doesn't, and Ole Miss doesn't, and they can just kind of go away. And I don't want them in the club, okay? That may be a stupid way to feel, but it's how I feel. And so I was thrilled when A&M got beat. It's petty and it's weak, and they crushed my team in Tiger Stadium, dominated them 2 years in a row, unequivocally, and it's petty for me to sit back and feel that way, but I can't really help it. It just is how I feel. And now they're swatted back to the bottom of the mountain where I like them, and that's great. And I just need Ole Miss to go back to where they came from, the bottom of the mountain, and then I'll be completely freed up. And to be honest, I don't think Ole Miss is going to beat Ohio State. I don't think Ole Miss is going to beat Georgia. And then if they did beat Georgia, I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. So I think that that's pretty safe. So I'm really excited to watch some stress-free football. I've broken these games down. As you're all perfectly well aware, I'm a brilliant point spread handicapper. I make excellent picks. Never mind the fact that I was 20 games below 500 or whatever it was for the SEC season. That's neither here nor there. This is not all SEC football. This is playoff football. I'm a playoff guy. I got a 2019 national championship. I was on the radio broadcast team, integral to that team's success. When they talk about that team, they constantly talk about Burrow. They constantly talk about Chase and Jefferson, and they always bring up Palmer on the pre and post game constantly.
Big game hunt.
And I was there for the championship game. They did it without me in against Oklahoma, and they did a good job of making sure that they took care of business that day without me in the building. But hey, I was part of that. So let's get some playoff picks here, starting on New Year's Eve at 6:30. 10 seed Miami, 2 seed Ohio State. Now, Bain on Ohio State's defensive line just destroyed Texas A&M. Destroyed them. Can they do that to Ohio State's offensive line to make sure that Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate don't start cooking with Julian Sayin? Because you keep in mind, this is the second big 1-2 punch that they've had to face at wide receiver. They held Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion to a combined 11 catches for 124 yards. So aside from one 59-yarder from Craver, they didn't do a ton in that game. Miami had 7 sacks against A&M. Bain had 3 of them. Now, Ohio State has only given up 11 sacks through 13 games. That's 6 in the country. But Indiana had 5 of them. So Indiana got after him and got into the backfield and made things tough on Sayin, and they didn't score a lot of points. So can Bain and that Miami defensive front, which I was so impressed with, do that to Ohio State? We'll see. Miami's also got to get Mark Fletcher going. At A&M, 17 carries for 172 yards. Ohio State's 5th in the country in yards per game allowed rushing, and they held Indiana at only 3.5 yards per carry. That's Miami's ticket. The key here for Miami is not for Carson Beck to throw the ball 41 times. The key for Miami is for the D-line to win up front and to run the ball with Mark Fletcher. I think they can do that. Now, if Beck throws 3 picks, all bets are off. But I think Miami can stay in this thing. I'm going to take them plus the 9.5. I think they lose. They may lose by 7. But I think they stay in it with that defensive line and the running game. So give me Miami plus the 9.5. All right, on the other year, 2026. Let's go to New Year's Day. 11 a.m., big one. Oregon, Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl. The Red Raiders are top 5 nationally in scoring defense, total defense, and they lead the country in run defense. Nasty group on the defensive side. Meanwhile, Oregon is 2nd in the country in yards per carry rushing. They love to run the football. They do it really well. Now, this said, Oregon played 3 top 15 defenses this year. They played Indiana, Iowa, and Washington. And in those 3 games, they only scored 21.3 points per game. Not gangbusters against the good defense they played. Same story here for Texas Tech, though. They've only played 2 top 40 offenses in the country. I like Oregon and Dante Moore at quarterback more than I like Baron Morton. Baron Morton's got the lowest QBR remaining of the quarterbacks in the college football playoff. But I like the Texas Tech defense. And I think they're ready to play on this stage. They've had a pretty manageable Big 12 schedule. It's not a great league at all. And y'all know I'm elitist in that way. But I think that the defense is legitimate. I think they shopped in the right places in the transfer portal, spent the right amount of money. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. 2.5 is a short number. I'm going to take Texas Tech. I think they can win this game outright. I will take them plus the 2.5 in that one. New Year's Day, Rose Bowl, 3 o'clock our time. Indiana, the 1 seed. Bama, the 9 seed. 7 is the number. Indiana's favorite. You've heard me talk about Bama's running game time and time again. They're 127th in the country in yards per carry if you exclude sacks. And when they lose, it might be coming up this week. It might come on Thursday. It might be the next round. But when they lose, which they will, it will be because they didn't run the ball at all. The Tide has been outgained in their last 2 wins by more than 100 yards. They've won 4 games this year when they've been outgained. Now, you can say that's great coaching. You can say that's gutting them out and winning tight games. Or you can say that's not exactly the way to sustain winning. Now, Indiana loses Stephen Daly, 19 tackles for loss, 2nd in the country. That's a big loss for them because he would have been a big key to getting in Simpson's face. Bama's path in this game is the quick passing game and run after the catch from Jeremy Bernard and Latsir Brooks and Ryan Williams, making big plays, and also the defense getting turnovers. Consider this. They had the pick six right before the half against Tennessee, which completely threw that game out of whack. Tennessee was going down for a touchdown to cut the lead through a pick six in the last play of the half. Just absolutely crippling to the Vols there. Vanderbilt in that game in Tuscaloosa, 2 red zone turnovers on offense that Bama forced. And then they got the huge pick six when they were down against Oklahoma. These are game-changing turnover plays that Bama has been creating. That's how you win games when you get outgained. Indiana's second in the country in turnover margin. They're third in terms of fewest giveaways. They don't turn the ball over. I don't think Alabama's going to run the ball on Indiana. I don't think Indiana's going to turn the ball over. And I think Indiana is going to cover the 7 in this game. I don't think this is bias. I don't think I'm being unrealistic. I've watched Bama play a lot this year. I'm not impressed with their physicality. I'm not impressed with the consistency with which they play. They've got talent. They make talented plays. Simpson's talented. Bernard is talented. Some of those defensive players that make individual plays are talented. But down in and down out, their physicality, their discipline, like I like Indiana. I like Indiana to win comfortably by more than 7, probably more than 10. And then got New Year's Day, Sugar Bowl right down the road, Ole Miss at Georgia. 6.5 is the number here. The Dogs are obviously favored. How about this? This is a good stat for LSU fans. I love this stat. LSU fan love this stat. Do y'all realize when Ole Miss went to Athens this year, they scored a touchdown on their first 5 drives? Lane Kiffin's going to get these 4 and 5 stars in Baton Rouge. He's going to score points. He's going to score a ton of points. He went to Athens against Kirby Smart in that place where they never lose and scored a touchdown on the first 5 possessions. Now, keep in mind they had 13 yards total in the fourth quarter. Chambliss went 1 for 10, so it turned on a dime. And that's not as great for LSU fans. But touchdowns in the first 5 possessions is good. Kewan Lacey is probable for this game. They've listed him that way. He's got the shoulder injury, but he's running great. Last 5 games, 134 yards per game, 6.2 yards per carry. In the last 5 games, Kewan Lacey is averaging 4.3 yards after contact. He's just a bull of a running back. We'll see how he can run with that shoulder. Now, Georgia's defense has turned a corner. They're allowing 7.3 points per game in the last 4 games of the season. And look, here's the big part. It's not Chambliss and Lacey. It's not the Georgia defense. It's that the Georgia offense, I think, can impose its will on Ole Miss's average defense. I think Ole Miss is an average defense. In the first meeting between these two teams, Georgia carried the ball 49 times for 221 and a touchdown. They ran the ball very, very well. And as they ran it very, very well, Gunnar Stockton found a rhythm. He went 26 out of 31 in that game for 289 and 4 touchdowns. A lot of the quick passing game, very efficient, some yard after catches, 4 touchdowns, no mistakes. I just think the Bulldog offense is going to be able to impose its will on Ole Miss's defense, and I don't think Ole Miss will be able to keep up with that against the Georgia defense. I think Ole Miss can score on most defenses. Not as much on the Georgia defense as they did early in that game. Kirby will have these guys ready. They'll be more rested than Ole Miss, who had to play. Lacey's kind of banged up. I like Georgia to cover the 6.5. So my picks, Miami plus 9.5. I like Texas Tech plus 2.5. I like Indiana minus the 7. And I like Georgia minus the 6.5. That's my story. You've been listening to picks all week, Jordan. What do they got?
I will say this. A lot of people, I mean, even though you just said it, a lot of people have Miami. Like, I don't know what it is. Well, you have them covered. You don't necessarily have them winning the game.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, you know, I think they will cover. They're going to have to bring it, man, because if everybody knows, famously, you know, Jeremiah Smith, he was supposed to go to Miami. He's from Miami. He's from the area. He's been chirping all week saying how a lot of the players on Miami went to high school with him. Like, those are guys he played against. So it's going to be intense. It's going to be a lot of chirping. So I can see Miami bringing it. I want Ohio State to be eliminated. I don't like anything Ohio State, what they got going on with the Big Ten. All these Big Ten people worry about the SEC, so I want Ohio State out of there. I will say this, though. We both want Ole Miss to be disintegrated. We want Kirby Smart to run it up, get him out the dome. And
Hunker down, you hairy dogs.
And then you know what? The fact that they're in the dome, the sugar, they're in our state right now.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is in our state. They're penetrated our city, our state. Well, it's not New Orleans, but they've infiltrated. They got to go by any means necessary. Kirby Smart, finish the job, get him out, get our coaches back, and let's get the ball rolling.
I'll be sitting there on New Year's Eve. We're having a low-key night, going to do some sparklers with the Myers man. Wife and I might have a glass of champagne.
Real chill.
It's not going to be wild and crazy in the Palmer house, but I'll be watching this game.
Oh.
And I have to pull for Ohio State in case Ole Miss beats Georgia. I have to have Ohio State as my buffer beyond that because I cannot have Ole Miss in the national final. And they're going to have to beat Georgia and Ohio State or Miami to get there. I'll have to pull for Miami. I'll have to pull for Ohio State because I can't have Ole Miss get into the final.
Okay, I just want to say this, Hunt. What's the doomsday scenario if Ole Miss, let's just say they actually make it to the national championship?
It's awful. I got to let them in the club at that point.
Well, we didn't say they win it. We didn't say they win it yet.
I don't even want them to get there. I don't even want them to think they were even close.
Okay. But it's the doomsday scenario that they made it this far up into the national championship without Lane Kiffin.
I don't care about that. I don't care about the Kiffin thing.
Okay.
All I care about is the Ole Miss fans knowing where they stand. And where they should stand is in the Grove with a solo cup and a chandelier and a 4-7 football team. That's where they should stand. I don't need them standing anywhere near national championship. That's where I stand.
Yeah.
I stand there every 5, 7, 8 years. They don't stand there. I stand there. They don't stand there.
Okay.
So get out.
So doomsday, we're just saying.
Get out. All right. Speaking of teams that don't win national championships, LSU basketball hasn't done that in my lifetime. I hope they do one day. I don't know that it's going to be this year, but I watched them play well last night, and let's talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carver and his team, great folks to work with when it comes to your benefits, your employee benefits. We know how important benefits are to acquiring talent to your organization, to retaining talent in your organization. You want to make sure that you've got fantastic health care. You want to make sure that you got fantastic benefits. And we know that there is a certain carrier that's cracking those rates up time and time again. And all of a sudden it gets untenable, it gets uncomfortable. If that's happened to you, or you feel it may be happening to you at your next renewal, the Howard Insurance Group has options. They're an independent broker. They can shop your benefits as a different option. So if you've got a renewal coming that you grit your teeth going, I just don't know if I can deal with that, let Jonathan Carbo and his team help you with it. Just have a conversation with them. See what they can do. Let them explore other options. It's the Howard Insurance Group. They can help you with your property and casualty. You know that. They can certainly help you with benefits as well. It's the Howard Insurance Group. Find them online, HighlandIG.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May Remax Partners.
Talk Saints with Sharief Ishaq coming up in about 10 minutes from right now. LSU beat Southern Miss last night by 28 points in the PMAC. And watching the game, it was LSU really playing to its identity. Now, Southern Miss is not a great team, but I've seen not great teams come into the PMAC a lot. And I've seen LSU kind of limp by them, win some sort of 74-69 game where, they were up 6 or 7 and team threw in a late 3. And it wasn't necessarily they were going to lose, but was it a convincing win? No. And there have been games where LSU's not played very well this year. They weren't very good against Prairie View. Prairie was just throwing everything under the sun in, and LSU couldn't get a stop. LSU's defense, offense was good against a SWAC team. I would expect that. But they didn't play good defense, and they gave up way too many points in the game. But when they play well, this is what it looks like. First of all, De'Don Thomas dominated this basketball game. Dominated it. He was 8 of 11 from the floor. That's not even really the most important part, even though it's really good. He had 12 assists. 12 of LSU's 19 assists. LSU assisted on 19 of 32 makes in this game. And Thomas was able to knock down a couple of threes. He was able to probe the defense, get into the paint, throw in a couple of floaters, hit a couple of lobs. He controlled everything. And that's what he's got to do. He's the heartbeat of the team. And when he controls things, it frees things up for the other two guys that they count on for heavy contributions offensively. And then that's Mike Nwoku, who was 10 of 13 last night. He's in the top 10 in the country in shooting percentage. 10 for 13 is not going to hurt that. He goes for 22 points, grabs 6 rebounds. He threw down 2 different alley-oop dunks from De'Don Thomas on easy feeds that they're just so good and in sync on. A lot of it's on high ball screen action. Some of it's on just some penetration stuff where there's help defense. But he's one, and then Max McKinnon's the other. And McKinnon knocked down 3 of his first 5 threes. Now he missed his last 4, but he knocked down 3 of the first 5 and had 15 points and did what he needs to do to stretch the defense. And that's LSU's identity offensively. Markel Sutton will have better games than he had. He was 0-5 from 3. He missed 7 of his 10 shots. But the other guys picked up the slack. And that's LSU handling things offensively. Oh, by the way, to go with shooting 52% from the floor, to go with De'Don Thomas having another career high 12 assists, to go with Nwoku's 22 points and McKinnon's early threes, the team turned the ball over 6 times in the game. In the game. I mean, I've watched LSU basketball play a ton where they beat bad teams and they turn the ball over 14, 16 times. But this team doesn't do that because you got really mature guards in McKinnon and certainly Thomas who handle themselves. And then the good part that is something that I haven't seen a ton of was that LSU blocked some shots last night. They blocked 11 shots. Mike Nwoku had 5 blocks. That's a rim protection aspect that LSU has lacked the last few years. And Southern Miss is not good, as I mentioned, but Southern Miss played South Carolina into overtime. Lost by 4. Southern Miss played Ole Miss to a 4-point game. And Southern Miss came into the PMAC, and LSU beat them by 30. And then you look at some of the other teams that LSU has played this year and kind of where their standing is. SMU beat Mississippi State in Starkville. SMU beat Texas A&M in Fort Worth. SMU came to New Orleans, and LSU laid them to waste in the second half. Smoked them in the second half. So there are some games against some teams that are functional. DePaul beat Georgia Tech by double digits. And then the next day in Destin, after DePaul had beaten Georgia Tech by double digits, I think that number, let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, they beat them by 14. DePaul beat Georgia Tech by 14. The next day, LSU beat DePaul by 33. I am not here to tell you that this LSU team is going to challenge at the top of the SEC. I don't believe that. I have watched Bama play. LSU's not that good. I've watched Tennessee play. LSU's not that good. LSU's not as good as Florida. There are other teams in this league LSU's not as good at. Arkansas can be really good this year if Cal can get out of the way. But there are teams in this league that look like DePaul, that look like SMU. And LSU crushed those teams. And when they play their best offensively, they can be pretty good. So I'm not suggesting, this is what I wrote in a column at LouisianaSports.net. I've got some more stats in it, and it's better to read, obviously, if you got a chance to do that. But I'm not here to tell you that LSU's going from the outhouse to the penthouse. You're not going from 3-14 to 14-3. I'm not even trying to get in that stratosphere with you. But I'm telling you, I think they can be a 500 team. Close to a 500 team. And that puts you in the tournament. The difference in this team and the previous McMahon teams is that your best player is now your point guard. Like, KJ Williams was a second-team All-SEC player in McMahon's first year. And you were 2-16 in the league. Last year, Cam Carter was a second-team All-League player. He was great. He averaged 16 a game. He shot 40% from 3. He was awesome. But you went 3-15. You have not had point guard play like this. Juice Williams did not translate from Murray State to LSU. Jalen Cook came over from Tulane back after transferring out of LSU, and then he was ineligible. Then he was eligible. Then he didn't play very well, and then he just left the team, and it didn't work. You had to have Jordan Wright do everything for you. He was a 6'3" who was trying to play point guard. And last year, Cam Carter's a 2. He's a scorer, and he had to do everything for you. Now you've got a point guard who's facilitating things, who's running the show, who knows when to push the tempo and get in transition, who knows when to stop and back things up, who knows when to attack off the pick and roll, who knows when to work the pick and pop and get back into an offensive set. He knows how to handle the show. And LSU hasn't had that in the McMahon era. And because of that, Mike Nwoku has gone from a 6-point per game guy to a 16-point per game guy. Yes, the competition's been bad. I know that. He's not going to average 16 the whole SEC slate, but he's got a chance to do some stuff like that. Max McKinnon has shot it great the last 4 games. Shot it great the last 4 games. You're talking about a guy who's 52% from three-point range over the last 2 weeks. Because he's got open looks. Because the defense is spread. And the ball's going where it needs to go. So I'm not telling you this is a Sweet 16 LSU team. I'm not telling you it's a Final Four LSU team. I'm not telling you that the non-conference schedule was really, really difficult. It was not. It was incredibly light. Nobody came to the PMAC in terms of a visiting team. Not I'm talking about fans, I'm talking about visiting teams. They went and played tournaments that weren't on national television against teams that nobody's watching. They got crushed by Texas Tech, and they're not done getting crushed. They will have a couple of games in conference that they will get boat raced because the league's good and there's 18 of the games, and sometimes you can't make shots. But when they have a good point guard, which I believe they do, and they've got some pieces around him, which I believe they do, they've got a shot. And the league's come back a little bit. I'm concerned about LSU's defense. I'm concerned about LSU's bench scoring. There are some things that are still concerning to me. But I'm not going to completely turn a blind eye to crushing a Southern Miss team that played with 2 of your SEC foes, to beating down an SMU team that beat a couple of your SEC foes, of just absolutely laying to waste at a Paul team that had just beat Georgia Tech 24 hours earlier. Like, some of that's impressive. I don't care how bad you did or beat Prairie View. I don't care how bad you didn't beat Tarleton State or UNO. But some of these games are against teams that would be at the 12, 14 mark of the SEC, which are still league games that you're beating by 30 points. So I think they got a shot. That's what I'm telling you. I think they got a shot. And they need to get off to a decent start. We'll talk about it on Friday. I think they got a chance in their first 2 games. The next 2 are really difficult. The first 2 games in league play, you got a real chance. You go to A&M, and you got South Carolina coming here. Get off to a 1-1 start. Man, if you get off to a 2-0 start, like you can do this. I know everybody's locked in the transfer portal, and trust me, we're going to spend 80% of the show talking Saints and transfer portal on Friday. But I am going to mention the A&M game because I'm hopeful that this LSU basketball team digs out of it. It's not a lot of fun to wade through a winless January, a 1-win January like we do sometimes, and I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think this team's a little bit better. So we'll talk about it as we continue to move forward. I got a column up at LouisianaSports.net talking about De'Don Thomas. When we come back, Sharief Ishaq talking Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners, DarylMayProperties.com, DarylMayProperties.com. Buying or selling a home in Baton Rouge, Daryl May's your guy. Why? Well, he's born and raised in Baton Rouge. He knows the area. He lives in St. Francisville. He knows places to look for that potential second home or just life to start outside the city. Daryl's done it. He's also been a builder for better than 20 years, so he knows what you should be looking for as a buyer. Daryl's been in this community for a long, long time. If you're looking for a realtor that you can trust on what you need to be buying or bringing people to you, what you need to be selling for, Daryl May at RE/MAX Partners is your guy. Go to DarylMayProperties.com. Reach out to him. Got a page there on his homepage with the listings if you're looking to buy. Land is also something he's very well versed in. Louisiana and Mississippi. So if you're looking Mississippi Gulf Coast up in Woodville, he's got you covered there as well. It's Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Find him online at DarylMayProperties.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May RE/MAX Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May RE/MAX Partners.
Winding down here. Final Hunt Palmer Show of 2025. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Appreciate Sharief Ishaq for hanging out with us. He does so on Tuesdays. Does it right now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharief, how we doing?
Good, man. I'm glad that I am your last guest of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah, unless something happens that I don't foresee in the next 20 minutes, I think you're going to be it. So make it count. This is the last moments of the show for the year.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish. I'm like the Tyler Shuck of TV.
That's exactly right. Speaking of him, how are we feeling about it?
Look, man. I mean, I know what people are saying. It's the Jets. It's the Titans. But like, imagine had he had horrible games against the Jets and Titans. What would you be saying? Instead, he flipped the script and he had good games against the teams that you're supposed to beat, and he did it in very crucial spots. The second half, we'll stick with the Titans game, 12 of 16 in the second half, or 251, 2 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating. And mind I tell you, Hunt, he's doing this. Yes, he has Olave and Johnson, but he also has guys that you probably never heard of: Pettis, Austin, Metabao, and Estime. I mean, for him to be throwing passes to those guys and guys off the street on the offensive line, I mean, that's just some very incredible work there by Tyler Shuck, and he just continues to improve each game. He continues to impress, and the thing that he's done well, I think, in these last few games is go through his progression, look at each level, and he's directing traffic, and that's something that Saints fans should be very encouraged about moving to the future.
Let's talk about some of those names you mentioned, specifically Autry Estime. Is there an opportunity for him to carve out a real role in the future Saints offenses?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a backup, of course. I mean, you have Neal, you're going to have Estime, and then a question mark with Alvin Kamara. And then are they going to bring in another one? Are they going to draft a running back, which I think they should do? That's something to talk about another time. But, yeah, I mean, he was with the Broncos. They didn't have a place for him. Like, just think about it. The Broncos did not have a place for Bailey and Estime, and now they're at the Saints, and they're showing that they can be very productive players. And I truly think that Estime is going to have a role in this offense next year just by showing what he's done in these last 2 games. And that's a good sign. And that's something that the Saints need. They desperately need a running game in a very bad way. They need playmakers, of course, but I think it starts with the running game when it comes to their playmakers, and they need to find a proven running back. Now, Neal and Estime haven't been in the league that long to show what they have, but at least they're good, dependable backup guys.
Have y'all asked Shuck and/or Kellen Moore about the starts? I realize everything's is positive and they're making winning plays late and making adjustments and getting things done, but I'd like to score a little bit more earlier. Have they talked about that?
About him not starting earlier in the season?
No, about scoring earlier in games. They're just getting off to very slow starts and having to go nuts in the second half. Awful starts, Hunt. 29 points in the first quarter is the worst in the NFL. I mean, that's the one thing that Tyler Shuck does continue to talk about. There's a lot of meat left on the bone, and there's a lot more for us left out there that we need to do. And he talks about those slow starts, and it's just, I don't know what it is, Hunt. I just think it's, it's one of those things where you take a little while to wake up. It's like whenever you wake up in the morning, you got to get going, and it's a slow start, and then boom, you get to like lunchtime, which is halftime, and then they're like, okay, let's get it going. Let's close out this day strong. And that's just something about the team where the play calling gets better, Shuck gets better, the line gets a little bit better, and the playmakers that they have out there get better. It's just they have to find a way next season to clean up the first quarter and the second quarter issues, because it's kind of the theme of the season, Hunt. The season was a slow start, and now they're finishing the season strong. They have to find a way to start the season strong and kind of finish it strong, and that goes with their quarters. And these first quarters, they're just ugly, and there's no other way to say it. They're just ugly. They're flat, and that's just something they have to figure out, because you have a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback, and maybe that's part of the reason. Defensively, what's your favorite part about what they're doing? Not that Sunday was a clinic, but the 3-4 weeks before that was really good.
I thought the second half was a clinic. The first half was an issue.
Yeah.
But just minus the Chase Young unbelievable play,
yeah,
be one of the top plays of the season. I mean, man, that looks like a K2 football in his hand when he's running down the field. But I think it's getting to the passes when the quarterbacks are getting there. Now they just have to convert them to turnovers. But they had pressure issues this week against Cam Moore. They had a hard time getting him down. I mean, I know eventually they did get the sacks with the strip sack, and Cam Jordan got a sack at with a knee down on fourth down that eventually turned a sack. They finished with what, 4 sacks or so, 2 or 4 sacks. Not many sacks, 4 sacks. So it's the battle it's the battle, man. It's the battle with them. They keep on battling. They don't give up, and that's the one thing I've really liked about this defense. That they've got to shore up the secondary. I mean, you can't have a 50-plus yard pass interference call. You have to take advantage of the interceptions. I know Alante's frustrated to have 4 pass breakups instead of 2 or 3 interceptions, but you're starting to see them getting closer to the balls and getting closer to making plays. And that's a trending in the right direction. They just got to force those turnovers, and I think that it's something they have to build on for sure. That's what you've seen the last 4 or 5 weeks, building on that defense and making it a top 10, 12 defense in the NFL.
I asked this a little bit tongue in cheek, but I want your truthful answer. Like, how important is Sunday's game?
I think it's important.
Okay.
They came into your house after the bye week and they embarrassed you.
Yep.
They embarrassed Ishaq, and they brought the fans from Atlanta, and it was like their home game, which we've seen a lot with many of the other fans and teams when they play the Saints. This is a chance for the Saints to return the favor. The 2 hottest teams, you could say, in the NFC South, maybe in the NFC. I mean, they're playing their best balls at the right time, and you saw what they did to the Rams last night, almost had an epic meltdown, a 24-3 meltdown. But they're going to have to start to find a way to get to Kirk Cousins. He's been their Achilles heel for so many years. I don't know what it is about a guy with cement shoes, cement brick feet, someone who can't move in the pocket, able to absolutely beat them down the field. That is something that has to stop, and they can't let Bijan Robinson have 93-yard touchdown runs like he had last night. You just cannot let him go for 200 yards of offense. I mean, it's an important game. It's an important game for the city, for the fan base, to go into the offseason with 5 straight wins. Imagine you say, oh, my God, we have not lost a game. And, how long when the season starts? Was the Falcons their last loss? I'm trying to think. That might have been their last loss of the season. So that's just something to think about, man. Get revenge, and you finish that season, and you finish the season strong. But your last loss actually coming against the Dolphins. So if they can win 5 straight games heading into the season, you feel good. You feel very good, man. It helps, in terms of getting, primetime games as well.
We'll talk about it next Tuesday. Happy New Year, Sharief. We'll talk next week.
All right, man. Happy New Year. See you next week.
That's Sharief Ishaq, WDSU. Great time to remind you about Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking to get into a new vehicle in the first quarter of 2026, no better spot to jump in than Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They got a huge inventory. Looking for Chevy Tahoes, Chevy Silverados, Chevy Suburban. They've got them there on the lot. You can check that out at FabryChevrolet.com. They've also got a great line of GMC models as well. You're looking at Sierras, Yukons, Denali's. Looking for an SUV, no better spot to look than Fabry Chevrolet GMC. It's a short drive away, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. I drove through St. Francisville last weekend on the way up to Shreveport. Nothing to it, just right there up the road on 110. Go check them out. The Fabry family, been integral in this community and a name you can trust for 35 years. And now you can trust them with Chevrolet and GMC up on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Check out that huge inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. We've only got one order of business left to do on this Tuesday. Got to make sure my day is right. Final show of the year. We'll play Take It or Leave It next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, based here in Baton Rouge, founded by a couple of former big leaguers, an athletic trainer. They began handcrafting bats for some of the best players in the game from the backyard shed in 2004. Fast forward at 21 years, and that dedication and quality and understanding of players' needs has turned Marucci into an all-American success story right here in Baton Rouge. Today, Marucci is the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can visit the wood shop responsible for the bats in the hands of Major League players, Major League stars all around the world. So to learn more, visit MarucciSports.com/campus tour. That means you can go in, check and see that woodworking spot. Such a cool opportunity, whether you're someone middle age, someone who's a little bit younger, kids going in there and checking out where the bats the stars use are made right here in Baton Rouge. Again, it's MarucciSports.com/campus-tour. Every ticket comes 20% discount over at Marucci. And also jump in there, take some swings in the cages as well. It's Marucci here in Baton Rouge. Check them out at MarucciSports.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May Remax Partners.
Reminder for those out there looking for something to do on this Tuesday evening, kind of continuing the celebratory mood, enjoying yourself out on the town, maybe less work obligations or school obligations the next couple of days. I'll be out at Court to Table tonight for sports trivia. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock sports trivia. Come by yourself. Come with a team. Come hang. Great food, huge televisions. You can win gift cards, play some pickleball if you'd like. But we'll be cranking up sports trivia tonight at 8 o'clock from Court to Table on Burbank. Would love to see a bunch of y'all out there this evening. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see you. All that's left to do this year is play some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling's the next generation of light beer. Just 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, all the flavor that you're looking for from a delicious beer. And the Christmas, refreshing, light flavor. If you're looking for light beer, you're going to knock down a couple here on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, watching some football. No better than to grab Flight by Yingling. If you hadn't tried it, try it out. Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer.
Okay, so we're going to start this off with the other digs, brother. We don't need to talk about what Stephon has going on. But the Dallas Cowboys have released cornerback Trayvon Diggs. The cornerback's release was an accumulation of multiple factors spread over time, including performances on and off the field and other elements. As you know, he had a concussion from hanging the TV the other day. So the Cowboys and Diggs felt like it was best to move on at this point, as his contract will be fully guaranteed next season, so they're trying to, get ahead of that. So will Diggs come out and said that he wants to find a playoff team to go into before the start of the playoffs? So will Diggs find a new playoff team? Take it or leave it?
I'll probably leave it. I don't know the rules on that, and you can add in guys this late, who's eligible or not.
He will just have to clear the waivers, and he's free to sign anywhere he goes.
Have at it. I would try to find a playoff team too. Yeah. If that's all that was left was the playoffs, I would try to find a playoff team. Feels like that's kind of unlikely based on all the things that's going on in Dallas. But yeah, not a super great week for the Diggs.
Yeah, they're not having the best of days. So Sean McVay has come out after the Monday Night Football loss. Come on, man, you got to beat the Falcons.
Nope.
Saying that he will go ahead and play his starters in Week 18 against the Cardinals, despite the Rams. They're already out the running for the division, and they're either going to be in the 5th or 6th seed. They can't go no higher or no lower than 5 or 6. But he's content on playing the starters Week 18 against the Cardinals. Take it or leave it. Playing your starters in a meaningless game.
I would leave it because my quarterback's old and can't move. So that's just not a guy I'm going to put on the field. He's the best player in the league potentially this year. Could be the MVP. He's your ticket to trying to win another Super Bowl. And I don't need him out there. I don't think that's a guy that needs more reps. I think Matt Stafford's had adequate reps. I don't think he's going to get super rusty because he sat out in Week 18. You want to play some other guys? Sure. I wouldn't put Naku out there either, but I guess the answer to the question is no, I would not put them out there, but I guess he is. So hopefully everybody stays healthy.
All right, so Anthony Rendon's tenure with the Los Angeles Angels is officially over after the team bought out his final year of his contract, according to The Athletic. The 7-year, $245 million deal from Rendon is pound for pound one of the worst of all time. He played in just 275 out of 1,032, something like that, games during his time with the Angels due to various ailments and surgeries. Is this the worst contract of all time? Take it or leave it.
It's close. I'll leave it with some respect to some others, but it's close. I mean, you're talking you're talking about an organization that spent huge on Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, Shohei Ohtani, and Albert Pujols in the span of like a 8-year period and won nothing. They got to the playoffs one time.
Yep.
I mean, just an unbelievable misappropriation of funds by the Angels. I appreciate to some extent being willing to pay top dollar like the Cubs won't do it, but I mean, you got to win more games than they don't win anything.
Yeah.
They wasted Mike Trout's entire career. Yeah. It's amazing.
And you had Ohtani, who's probably one of the top 3 players of all time. So Ross Dellinger is reporting that Lane Kiffin may attend the Sugar Bowl with Governor Jeff Landry. Oh, Lord. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that one, Lane. Look, I know that he likes to troll. I genuinely believe that he would like to see those players do well. I think he would. But I know what's going to go on in that city over the next 72 hours, okay? I've been there for Sugar Bowls as a student, as a fan. Those Ole Miss fans are going to be drinking a lot. God. Yeah. That's a night game on New Year's Day.
Lubricated.
And I know that he'll have security. The governor's got security and all. But, like, what are we doing here? You got to sneak in the back door and hope nobody's like. If you're walking through the suite level where I'm sure he'll be, and like there's gonna be drunk Ole Miss fans. Like I just would not want to deal with the situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he loves that.
No way, man. Like no way. I mean, it just I wouldn't do it. We'll see if he does. That's it for us. From the bottom of our heart, appreciate y'all listening all year long. We're going to take the next 2 off for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So everybody, please, please, please be safe out there. Have a wonderful and safe New Year. We are back Friday to kickstart 2026. Looking forward to it. See you next year.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. If your New Year's resolution is to get better at golf, I got to figure it out for you. You go to Swing Easy Golf Club. You get a private bay, so you don't have to worry about other people looking at you or holding up the golf course. You don't have to worry about whether or not it's hot or cold outside or it's wet. Maybe it's dark outside. You don't have to deal with any of that. You just go in to your private bay, turn on that simulator, and hit golf shots. You can turn on the driving range feature, work on hitting drivers, work on hitting wedges, work on hitting long irons, short irons. You get so much great feedback with what the ball does when it reacts on the simulator, with where your club face is at impact, and you can do it in a stress-free, comfortable environment over at Swing Easy. Whether you're a scratch player or you're a guy, girl that's just picking up the game, Swing Easy Golf Club is a great place to just work on your golf game. Check them out on Segan at Perkins. That's Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. You can also find them online, SwingEasyGCBR.com, SwingEasyGCBR.com.